Welcome to the Change Life Destiny podcast, where healthcare is being reimagined one conversation at a time. We spotlight the people, innovations, and ideas moving us from sick care to self-care and from reactivity to true prevention. This season was recorded live at the CLD conference, a place to connect, learn, and build a new future together. Get inspired at changelifedestiny.com. Let's dive in.
Well, Dr. Grune, we are here at the Change Life Destiny podcast. Welcome.
Thank
Guerry
you.
Grune, right?
Yes, it is, yes.
What are you here for today?
This is my third year here.
Okay.
And I have a company, Third Rock Essentials. It's the number 3RD Rock Essentials. And we make personal care products, proactive personal care products, including supplements. So the company started using with Sunscreen. We make Sunscreen, which is food-grade edible.
Okay.
So being in Plano, Texas, here in Dallas, this time of year, a lot of people have an interest in sunscreen. I'll be speaking about that here tomorrow at the conference.
Awesome.
In addition to speaking at the conference and representing Third Rock Essentials, I'm the CEO, founder, owner of Third Rock Essentials. I also am a registered patent agent, PhD chemical engineer, and I teach a course in sustainability at Duke University in the engineering school. So
awesome.
All of those things seem to come together at a conference like this, where people are interested in all the things that I do, which are green, sustainable, renewable, and we make products that are that way as well.
That's awesome. Well, all my respect to you, honestly.
That's very nice.
I do. Yeah, I do respect that a lot.
Thank you.
So tell us, how did Third Rock begin?
Great question. So I love to surf. I'd rather be at the beach this weekend than here, honestly. I had two younger guys, younger than you, that I surfed with. They were both in a 20 age category. They both got diagnosed, different doctors, different times, same age group, with melanoma.
Okay,
so
that's skin cancer, right?
Skin cancer, exactly, and it can be lethal. So both of them were scared, of course. Their doctor, different dermatologists, told them exactly the same thing, AMA advice. Keep surfing, you'll get it again. And so they quit at age 20, 21 years old. So right. I lost these guys at an early age to go surf with.
Right.
I luckily have some older guys I still surf with. But anyway, so that's how it started. I started looking into sunscreens, and this is 1999, 2000. You were probably not even born yet, but pretty close. Yeah. So anyway, what happened was it turns out that I'm an American Chemical Society member, and it was a front page article in 2001 written by Margaret Schlumpf, who's a toxicologist at the University of Zurich in Switzerland. Yeah. And she posted she wrote an article, and she found that the sunscreens are not safe. The organic sunscreens are endocrine disruptors, female mimicking hormones. And there had always been a rumor in my generation of the fact that maybe the sunscreens aren't as safe as you think they are. They might even be worse than no sunscreen at all. And I was always concerned. Well, she found this endocrine disruptors, which are female mimicking hormones. And being a man, I was like, well, I don't want that on my skin.
Right.
And I asked her for her manuscript. This is almost pre-internet days. The internet was just starting. Yeah. So she actually sent me her full manuscript from Zurich, Switzerland, toxicologist. I read through it. She lathered the back of female rats with what they call organic sunscreens. And organic sunscreens, not like organic food. Organic sunscreens are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So these organic sunscreens are transparent. They go in your skin clear, and they absorb UVB, but they don't absorb UVA very well. And UVA is the long penetrating rays that cause skin cancer if your immune system's depressed, and we'll talk about that. But so anyway, I said, well, I can make something better. And then I went to Australia, where they had the ozone hole. Or maybe I had just come back from Australia, where they had the ozone hole in those days in the 90s. And everybody in Australia, almost the whole population, lives on the coast, because there's only 12 at that time, maybe 14 million Australians. And they all live around the coast because the center of the country is a desert.
Yeah.
So they were already using mineral sunscreens. They were using titanium dioxide rather than zinc oxide. When I got back to the States and started looking into this, I heard about something that BASF was making. I actually met the guy who invented the first micronized zinc oxide. And zinc oxide is actually better than titanium dioxide. It really is the best UVA, UVB absorber and blocker that there is. So I did a deep dive into sunscreen, and actually patented the first non-endocrine disrupting cytoprotective immuno-enhancing sunscreen. Wow. And then was courted by Burt's Bees. So Burt's Bees in those days was an independently owned company. They then eventually sold out to Clorox for $987 million in 2007, and they ended their contract with me the same year. So I was told by my attorneys, you can sue for contract violation, or we think you have something really cool. Why don't you just commercialize it?
Yeah.
And that's how Third Rock started.
That's awesome.
Third Rock Sunblock Incorporated. The name came on a way to a beach on a way to the beach in Virginia Beach, where I live, with my at the time oldest daughter, who was 13, and she said, "Dad," when I told her, I said, "Well, we got to come up with a name for the sunscreen." I said, "What about Third Rock Sunblock?" And she said, "Well, Dad, it rhymes." And you'd have to know my daughter. That was a good positive sign. So Third Rock Sunblock Incorporated, now doing business as Third Rock Essentials, because we do a lot more than just sunscreen now.
Well, that's awesome. I love that story. I can identify a little bit. I'm from Cancun. So, and then also being from Mexico, the whole and the ozone rings a bell for me. And I didn't know about Australia.
Australia was a real big problem back in the 90s. The ozone hole, I think, has actually sort of sewn itself up somewhat.
Okay.
There was a theory at the time, which was chlorofluorocarbons, which are aerosols, were causing ozone holes, over the planet.
Yeah.
But you don't hear about it anymore. I don't know if it's there or it's not there, but satellite systems will tell you that whether they're there or not. But it seems like the political agenda now is about global warming or climate change, they call it now, instead of ozone holes.
I believe it's still in the background. I know refrigerants are a big thing with AC and so on.
So chlorofluorocarbons are obviously penetrating the upper atmospheres, and it's probably not a good thing. So, the chlorofluorocarbon industry and the air conditioning industry have been sort of in cahoots lately about, developing a new refrigerant, which is like 3 or 5 times more expensive.
They're using isobutane now, which is flammable. It's basically lighter fluid.
You know a lot about that. Good for you.
That's a different podcast.
That's good. Yes.
But Third Rock, I love that. I mean, it represents, to me, when I hear that, I immediately think of Earth. Right. I mean, that's the Third Rock.
Well, that's a good point too. We're earth-grown ingredients only.
Yeah.
When I write patents, I have to be very specific about the language, and an all-natural product means nothing in the patent world. So I had to come up with something. I said, well, we can use earth-grown substances only, not synthetics, earth-grown substances. The problem with earth-grown substances is we use things like jojoba oil. Well, jojoba oil comes from jojoba plants, which are like cactus, and you probably know about them, being from Mexico.
Yeah.
And they're plants that are very important. The oil is very useful, but there's no pools of oil on the planet that are jojoba pool oils, right? And so the thing is, even though I can't say that they aren't man-made, because unless you extract the oil from the jojoba plant, somebody has to do that. Now,
that's like
luckily,
aloe.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing with aloe, and
it doesn't come in its form naturally. You have to extract it.
Right, and now we don't use reconstituted aloe. We actually use the actual aloe that's filleted from the leaf, and that's a big deal because aloe is a very interesting plant. It has very interesting properties, and it's very, very healthful if you do it the right way.
Yes, because it stains. Can it stain?
It can, because what happens is there's something called allotoin, which is an enzyme, and the allotoin oozes out of the leaf when you break the leaf off of the plant, because it tries to protect the plant, and it kills. It's a toxin, and people don't realize how bad a toxin it is. And it's a yellowish, brownish fluid, And that's what you're talking about that can cause staining. If you do it right and you get the leaf and you fillet it right away, and then you fresh freeze it, there's that school of thought, and there's one company that does that use it, and it's drinkable. So I actually will drink aloe as well.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the kind of aloe we use for our sunscreen.
Well, that's awesome. So yes, tell us about jojoba. I'm familiar with it.
You are.
And so what else is there without?
Yeah, no. I can tell you everything.
Right?
It's all. It's not only patent, it's off patent now to sold. But the point is, we make food grade ingredients only. We say if you wouldn't put it in your mouth, don't put it on your skin. Your skin's your largest organ.
Right.
So jojoba oil is one of our oils. We use very little oil, actually, relatively. We use glycerin. So 100% of the sunscreens that are out there are glycerin, are water-based. They're 70% water and then 30% something else. We're 70% glycerin and 30% something else. So the 30% something else besides glycerin is jojoba oil, a little bit of olive oil. We use orange wax, beeswax, something called gamma oryzanol, which is an extract from rice oil, from brown rice oil, which is a strong antioxidant. A lot of bodybuilders take it orally. Again, remember, food-grade ingredients only. Right? We use beeswax, high mountain desert beeswax from Arizona, because believe it or not, the Arizona altitude, the high mountain desert beeswax, the bees actually have a higher SPF because they're at a 10,000-foot altitude. So very interesting how nature provides, right? Yeah. And let's see what else is in. And we use zinc only, zinc oxide only, but it's not the zinc oxide that anybody else on the planet has. In fact, we patented the process and the compound, which is a chelated zinc oxide. We use L-arginine to chelate the zinc oxide, and there's a big reason for that. It turns out that zinc oxide is a salt when it's mixed with water. Another reason we don't use water in our sunscreen. So it turns out if the pH stays above 9.5 to about 11, you can keep zinc oxide in its pure form, and it doesn't become zinc hydroxide. Every other mineral sunscreen, and I mean with no exception on the planet, the zinc oxide becomes zinc hydroxide. And the reason you know that is if you've ever bought or used a zinc oxide or a titanium dioxide mineral sunscreen, they tend to turn into toothpaste over time. And the reason they do, they get thick and they get toothpastey-like, is because it salts out. It literally, the zinc oxide or the titanium oxide or both, becomes zinc hydroxide or titanium hydroxide, which is a salting out.
Yeah, that's what bottles, if you just go once a year to your summer vacation, you grab the bottle, you open it, and it's all crusted. You can't use it anymore.
Exactly, 100%. Oh, wow. So with our product, I got stuff in our garage, and I started in our garage. I get stuff in our garage that's 15 years old that's exactly the same as it was when I made it.
That's amazing.
And what that does is it also guards against UVA deterioration. So it turns out everybody talks about SPF. Yeah. SPF 30 means, just for example, that, and your skin's darker, obviously, than mine a little bit. But let's just say in 20 minutes, in direct sunlight, like here in Dallas, we both start to turn pink. Yeah. SPF is sun protection factor. That's SPF 30, right? Yeah. Sun protection factor 30. What does that mean? 30 times 20 minutes that it takes for you to start to turn pink is 600 minutes of protection. Well, 600 minutes of protection is 10 hours of protection. From what? From UVB only. UVB is what causes you to burn. UVB are the short, high-penetrating rays from the sun, wavelength-wise, and that will turn your skin pink. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you're in Mexico in Cancun or I'm in the beach at Virginia Beach, it means you need to get the hell out of the sun because you've gotten all the vitamin D you need for the day and you're now pink. Right. Okay, so you've gotten the vitamin D, but the problem is, for me as a surfer, it takes me 20 minutes to get in the water. Yeah. So by definition, I'm already overexposed. Right? So what happens is it's not just the overexposure to UVB that's the problem. It's really the overexposure to UVA, which is the long, deep penetrating rays that are not really designed to burn you, except they do damage to DNA. And if your immune system's impaired, like my two 20-year-old surfer buddies who probably ate at McDonald's almost every day, okay?
That's another podcast altogether.
That's another podcast, right? Then what happens is your DNA, starts to mutate. Yeah. And your immune system can't overcome the mutations. And if you have enough mutated cells, you get skin cancer.
So something we know, being from Cancun, is that, believe it or not, the most dangerous days are when it's cloudy.
Yeah, exactly. Because
that's something that only natives know.
Yeah, because the problem is the clouds are blocking the sun, but they're not blocking the UVB and UVA completely. Right. And in fact, it's the UVA that's coming through more than the UVB. Right. So you wake up the next day sore. Yep. And why you wake up sore is because what's happening is you literally have chain scission going on or DNA splitting. In other words, the cells themselves are starting to split. And when nerve cells split, it causes pain. Yeah. And inflammation. Neither one is good.
So let me ask you, I seen something recently that is... bottles used to come. Some of them used to come with 100% SPF.
Or 100 SPF, you mean?
Sorry, percent. Forgive me. Yeah, 100 SPF.
100
you're
SPF,
right.
Yeah.
But now they don't sell that anymore.
That's a very good
because
question.
They have changed it and altered it.
That's right. So the FDA in the United States, and I guess probably Mexico's the same, and Canada very much too, although the regulations in Canada and Mexico are probably even more stringent. But the FDA decided in 2011 with their monograph, and that's the last monograph they've had out. 1978 and 2011 were the only two monographs ever issued by the FDA on sunscreen.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, it wasn't sunscreen. It was suntan lotion, and it was not regulated. But the FDA considers it a drug. Well, they said in their latest monograph, you can only have SPF 50 plus. You cannot advertise anything higher.
60, 80.
However, in the United States, you can still find the big three, which is basically Playtex, which owns Banana Boat, and Coppertone, which is owned by Bayer, that bought it out from Monsanto, the personal care line, and that's Coppertone, and then Neutrogena, which is owned by Johnson & Johnson. So those guys get away with everything still because they can call it SPF 100, and you'll still see in the United States an SPF 100 commercial. But again, remember, SPF, sun protection factor, is UVB only.
Right.
That's it.
Well, let me ask you this, Doctor. Sure. Where do we find your product, and how is it different in as far as protecting from UVB?
Well, remember what I told you. The zinc oxide for us never becomes zinc hydroxide. So what I do is I like to tell people at the booth this weekend, I'll say, look, you know what the lifeguards put on their nose? That's pure zinc oxide. Yeah. Right? Our product is exactly what the lifeguards put on their nose, except we made it into a lotion. And we use all those food-grade edible ingredients and non-toxic, non-endocrine disrupting, cytoprotective, immuno-enhancing products in our sunscreen. So we have a proactive sunscreen. The big goal was to keep your immune system healthy in the presence of the sun. The endocrine disruptors, female mimicking hormones, are toxic, and they're going to deplete you in the presence of the sun. That's the last place you want to be depleted.
Where do we find it? Do we find it online or your website?
Sure. Online,
Amazon?
website, Amazon. Yep, we're on all. So it's the number 3 RD for third, and then ROCK, ROCK, essentials.com. That's where you should go. That's our website. If you want to make Jeff Bezos more wealthy than he already is, you can go to Amazon and find us. We have an Amazon store. We have all our products there, including supplements. We make an alternative to Neosporin, Nutrisporin. We make a liver cleanse product, which is really good. We call it Third Rock Hangover Block. We make chelated silver oxide. We use chelation not only for the zinc oxide with L-arginine, we also chelate silver oxide with citric acid. And that's in a glycerin water compound. And that chelated silver is, I would say, colloidal silver on steroids. If you ever get food poisoning, God forbid, and of course in Mexico that happens more than in the United States.
We call it the revenge of Moctezuma.
Yes, the Montezuma revenge. I know about it. And I would say we have the antidote. The chelated silver oxide is something you can ingest directly. Yeah. We make something at 4,000 parts per million called Silver Excelsior. And if you dilute that 1 eyedropper full in 8 ounces of water, you'll have about 150 parts per million. You drink that right after your stomach starts feeling weird, and it will be gone in the matter of minutes. So it really is something that I travel with all the time. Yeah. We make it into a spray. We make it. We infuse it into something called Neutrolium, which is an alternative to Vaseline, and we call it Nutrisporin instead of Neosporin. It's also wound healing, and the Nutrisporin product, we did a clinical study with 12 people in a nursing care facility up in Bremerton, Washington. These women all had UTI, chronic UTI, urinary tract infection. And by applying this topically, it wiped it out and stopped it from ever coming back. We had one woman there in the nursing care facility. She was on hospice. She was dying. Wow. She was getting antibiotics every single week. And nothing was helping her. She literally was dying. And they started applying this topically morning, noon, and night. The woman never got another UTI and lived 9 more months on hospice in the nursing care facility. So you can't make this stuff up, right?
Yeah, no. It sounds like we really need to look into those products. I know I'm going to look into those products because, again, being a son of the sun, right? Sun lover, exactly. Sun lover. I'm definitely going to go.
Good.
Thank you so much for being with us
today. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure having you and talking to you.
Yeah. So it's thirdrockessentials.com, right? 3RD, rockessentials.com. And you can find us. Just put in the number 3. That's the big deal.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Thanks for your time.
That's a wrap for today's episode of the Change Life Destiny podcast. If you loved what you heard, share it with a friend and follow us for more bold conversations and breakthrough ideas. Ready to take the next step? Visit changelifedestiny.com to join the movement. See you next time, and keep diving in, learning, and leading the change.